Okay, let us begin with our metta. May all beings be happy and secure. May all beings have happy minds. Whatever living beings there may be, without exception, weak or strong, long, large, medium, short, subtle or gross, visible or invisible, living near or far, born or coming to birth, may all beings have happy minds. Let no one deceive another, nor despise anyone anywhere. Neither from anger nor ill will should anyone wish harm to another. As a mother would risk her own life to protect her only child, even so towards all living beings one should cultivate a boundless heart. One should cultivate for all the world a heart of boundless loving friendliness, above, below and all around, unobstructed, without hate or resentment, whether standing, walking, sitting, lying down or whenever awake. One should develop this mindfulness. This is called divinely dwelling here, not falling into erroneous views, but virtuous and endowed with vision, removing desires for sensual pleasures. One comes never again to birth in the womb. I think by now you all may have memorized my morning instructions. It is not vain repetition. It's a meaningful repetition for us to settle in the practice. Let us pay attention to our breath. Notice inhaling as inhaling. While inhaling, we notice the chest area expanding, lower abdominal area expanding. As we breathe out, lower abdomen contracts, chest area contracts, the breath leaves the nostrils. We notice this. Also we notice the feeling of the breath. Only through feeling we know that we are breathing, and that feeling is changing, rising and falling. We can perceive mentally the breath and the feeling. That perception also rises and falls as we breathe in and out. Then whatever thoughts arises, like paying attention, knowing that we are breathing, these are thoughts. They also change, rise and fall. Consciousness, of course, is always with them, and that consciousness arises and passes away. Seeing this reality, the body relaxes, mind relaxes. The mind let go of clinging to anything. This we hear in the sutta. Nacha kinchi loke upadhyati. This sentence in the Satipatthana Sutta, repeated every part in the discourse. This means nacha kinchi loke upadhyati, nothing in the world the meditator holds. So he or she does not hold on to anything in the world. Nacha kinchi, kinchi means nothing. Upadhyati holds. When things are rising and falling, the meditator notices rising and falling. The mind will not try to hold on to anything, because that really does not happen. It is mere thought. And then we become even more relaxed as we let go, relax our body, relax the breath, relax the mind. In that relaxed state of mind, we feel metta feelings, and then whatever rigidity, uptightness, resentment were there would fade away, disappear, and then compassion arises. Compassion takes care of restlessness and worry, because when the mind is compassionate, it settles and the mind becomes more lucid and settled. Restlessness and worry fade away. Then we get more energy. This energetic state arouses our spiritual urgency, meaning we want urgently practice to liberate ourselves from suffering as it arises every moment. We must remain mindful every moment to get rid of that suffering that arises every moment. Then sleepiness and drowsiness fade away. There is no sleepiness. Buddha said, Aturanancha ka nidda, we are sick with defilements. For the sick, how can they have sleep? What sleep can they have without getting better and be healthy? So, sleepiness and drowsiness fade away. And seeing all this, confidence arises in us, in our own practice, in the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. We get more confidence, and then that arouses our joy, because every step we see something positive. In this practice, nothing negative arises. All the negative hindrances fade away. All positive results are present. That gives us joy, which makes us even more relaxed and calm, making the body and mind tranquil. Kaya passaddhi, chitta passaddhi, tranquility of the body and tranquility of the mind. That leads to happiness. Happy state of mind, even more calm, relaxed and peaceful. Not excitement is there, but a very peaceful state exists. That leads to concentration. This, at the beginning, we let go of our greed by seeing rising and falling. Now we come to concentration. In the concentrated state of mind, the rising and falling we saw earlier becomes more subtle, and we become aware even deeper, subtlest changes that take place all the time, which penetrate our notion of self. Notion of self is a very hard to get rid of until we gain insight and concentration. Now we get both in this practice, and when we gain this state, achieve these results, then our notion of self gradually dilute, evaporate, and disappear. Let us see how this happens in our practice. Dukkha patta cha nidukkha, bhaya patta cha nibbhaya, soka patta cha nisoka, hontu sabbe pipanino. May the suffering be free from suffering. May the fear-struck be free from fear. May the grieving be free from grief. So too may all beings be. With this metta recital, let us focus our mind on the answers to this question that Brian is asking me.
Okay. Dear Bhante, after listening to your talk today, what I understood was when we have a pleasant feeling, we
Not clear?
we see.
We see arises.
We see arises.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
We see arises.
I don't know.
Okay. But we don't see the cessation because of the lust as the seamstress. So we feel that the present feeling is permanent. Is this right? Please explain. Now, because of the seamstress, that is the desire, when pleasant feeling arises, it is we enjoy that. That is the nature of pleasantness. As we say, I think I mentioned this, ya yang tanha porno bhavika nandi raga sagata tatra tatrabhi nandini. Let me explain this sentence. Ya ayang tanha, this craving, porno bhavika. Yang tanha porno bhavika. Porno bhavika means repeating itself. Puna bhava. Puna means again, bhavika means becoming, repeating. Repeating nandi raga sahagata. The desire is pleasing, it repeats itself with lust and joy. Joy and lust. Nandi is joy, raga means lust. Nandi raga sagata means together. And therefore, tatra tatra abhinandini. Since it is joyful, every time pleasantness arises, joy repeatedly arises. Joy arises. Then raga, lust arises. So this is what the job of the seamstress. Seamstress, every time the thread, two threads come together, seamstress, when she sew things, two threads tie these things together. One part, one cloth, or anything that we sew, when two things joined together with the thread. The thread is the seamstress. Set is like a seamstress. The thread is called seamstress because it ties two things together. The desire does that because the desire tries to hold on to the something, contact, for instance, one contact with the next contact, and the next contact, and next contact, so forth, because every time the contact arouses our pleasant sensation, that contact wants to have more contact, and then have more contact, and so forth. And one contact is connected with another contact with the desire. And therefore, the desire is called seamstress. So the wise one, as Buddha mentioned in the discourse, yo ubante viditvana manche madhye manta na lippati. So the wise person, knowing both ends, does not join two ends. As he sees, one moment arises and it ceases the next moment. So he let that happen. When one moment arises, pleasant moment arises, and it passes away, he let this happen without trying to hold on to it, without trying to join these two ends. One feeling, one contact with the other. He understands this contact arises and passes away. All he does is seeing this, as we mentioned several times, as it is. When you see this happening as it is, this happened many millions of times, especially in meditation you can see this. So you train the mind to see, to let it happen without trying to hold on to it. That is what I tried to explain yesterday and in the past. Another question?
Yesterday, Bhante said that a meditator is not practicing Vipassana unless one is seeing impermanence.
Right.
Could one also say that one is not putting the Buddha's teaching into practice unless one concentrates on seeing the impermanence of all things?
Yeah. One may practice the Buddha's teaching on other level, but when one meditates, if he or she does not see impermanence, unsatisfactoriness and selflessness impartially, that person does not practice Vipassana meditation. Anybody can practice meditation, for instance, concentration meditation, to gain jhanas and so forth. One can do that, and that is meditation surely. But that is not called Vipassana meditation. I was emphasizing the meaning of Vipassana meditation. So, for one to practice Vipassana meditation, one must see impartially, directly, rising and falling, or what we call impermanence. impermanence of our experiences, our bodily impermanence like breath, and the feeling, impermanence of feeling like feeling, whatever feeling we have, impermanence of our perception, impermanence of our thoughts, and impermanence of our consciousness. They really are impermanent, and we cannot hide it. We cannot pretend that it doesn't happen that way. We simply admit, accept this true nature. Accepting true nature as it is Vipassana meditators' practice. Okay, another question.
Dear Bhante G, as I learned in the course, the cause and effect, Paticca Samuppada, the Nama Rupa explained as Nama, contact, feeling, perception, attention, and mental activity. And then in 5 aggregates, it says the Nama is feeling, perception, thoughts, and consciousness. Could you please explain a little more?
Right. In 5 aggregates, 5 aggregates are not divided as Nama Rupa in the way, but Nama Rupa, when we understand Nama Rupa as explained separately, surely Nama is called, Nama is little ambiguous, not very clear. Therefore, the word mentality would be better to use. When we use mentality, mentality has 5 components. As you mentioned already, these 5 components are contact, feeling, perceptions, thought, and attention. Now, attention is not in the 5 aggregates. Contact also is not in the 5 aggregate. The 5 aggregates are form, feeling, perception, thought, and consciousness. But the contact and attention are not mentioned in the 5 aggregates. So this division of Nama Rupa separately in Paticca Samuppada is more complete. And there, Rupa, of course, is made up of 4 elements. So that is a complete description. In the category of Rupa, 4 elements are mentioned. In the category of mentality or Nama, 5 components are mentioned. Form has 4, name has 5. So we can know them according to Mahanidana Sutta only by names. Only by name. If Buddha said, if those characteristics, elements, components, signs of mentality are not present, the mind cannot know the qualities of materiality. Materiality qualities are hardness, the earth element, and cohesion or holding together is water elements, and oscillation, movement is the air element, radiation is the character of heat elements. Now, when if there is no contact, feeling, perception, thought, and attention, if they are not present, then the mind cannot know the heat, cannot know the hardness, cannot know oscillation, cannot know cohesion. Mind knows all these characteristics of materiality only because the mind or mentality has these 5 components. And this is a complete description. Therefore, saying in 5 aggregates, form, feeling, perception, thought, and volitional formations of consciousness, itself does not describe the functions of mentality and materiality as described in Paticca which is more clearly explained in Maha Nidana Sutta in Digha Nikaya. Okay?
Okay. Let's see. To Bhante G, at the night of enlightenment, the Buddha saw many of his past lives, including recalling the teaching of Kassapa Buddha. Could you please explain what type of meditation the Buddha was practicing? Was the Buddha practicing Vipassana during the night before enlightenment?
Right. You see, in Samyutta Nikaya, Buddha said he mentioned Kassapa Buddha. He practiced dependent origination. He saw dependent origination in the ascending order and descending order, and then ascending order and descending order, and then he saw this consciousness does not go beyond the mentality and materiality. And he saw that consciousness, mentality, materiality, all are impermanent. So he developed Vipassana meditation, Kassapa Buddha. And all other Buddhas after that practice Vipassana meditation in order for them to attain enlightenment. So our Gautama Buddha practiced Vipassana meditation to attain enlightenment. That is why I said, I mentioned it many times before, and I don't mind it mentioning it again on now and in future, that in his practice of self-mortification, even before that he practiced concentration meditation to gain jhanas, and meeting his former teachers like Alara, Kalama, Uddaka, Ramputta and so forth. He practiced concentration meditation to attain the highest level of concentration meditation. Highest level is neither perception nor non-perception. And then he saw even neither perception nor non-perception is subject to change. It is not permanent. And then it triggered in his mind, this is the path. This is how the cycle of birth and death can be broken. And then he went on practicing by himself on his own, even during the self-mortification, Vipassana meditation. He went on practicing Vipassana meditation. And day and night, he did not practice anything else but practice Vipassana meditation. And then he also found that middle path or Noble Eightfold Path is the path in which Vipassana meditation plays a very major role. As I mentioned, there are three cardinal factors in the Noble Eightfold Path. One of them is Vipassana, sati, mindfulness, and meditation. Other two are understanding and effort. So he went on first trying to understand this system. All his life it is said 6 years, he practiced mortifying the body. And during this period of mortifying the body, what he did, he experimented various things to understand the system. Day and night, without eating, without sleeping, without taking rest and so forth, even until his body reduced to skeleton, he went on trying to understand. That is number one. Then he made effort. He made effort even to understand. And he made effort to practice. And then he saw all these are impermanent, anicca. And then he realized whatever is anicca is unsatisfactory, impermanent, and whatever is impermanent, unsatisfactory, without self. When he came to this realization, he continued this practice and attained full enlightenment. And on the night of that enlightenment, in the first watch, he saw the dependent origination in the ascending order. In the middle of the night, he saw the dependent origination in descending order. In the next morning watch, third part of the morning, third part of the night, or morning's part, he contemplated on both ascending and descending order of dependent origination. All these are the part of his insight, Vipassana meditation. And only then he declared to the world that he attained full enlightenment.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah.
Sotapanna or any phala sampatti, does one know you are in it? For example, is there a vijnana matra? When you come out of it, is there a sequence of coming back to normal self?
Yes, when you are in Sotapanna phala state, you know that you have overcome three fetters. It is very clear in your mind, no doubt about it. But if you have practiced jhana together with the Sotapanna phala state, then you will be supramundane jhanic stage. In jhana also divided into two, mundane jhana and supramundane jhanas. Supramundane jhanas are the jhanas that one who attains Sotapanna state, from that time he practices concentration meditation, or he practices concentration meditation and he might gain concentration and then seeing impermanence and so on, he attains Sotapanna state. And then from that time onward he continues this concentration meditation, attain jhanas. then his jhanic attainment is called supramundane jhanic attainment. So, when he comes out of that, it will be not like coming out of neva sanyana sanyatano sanya vedita nirodha. He cannot attain sanya vedita nirodha until he attains again nirodha, what you call third level, anagami level. Before that, nobody can attain sanya vedita nirodha samapatti. And therefore, Sotapanna person can attain jhanas and stay in jhanic stage for some times, and then he comes out of it gradually. He will not come out of just like coming out of Sanya Vedita Nirodha, but he slowly begin to get his feelings, ordinary feelings, and then he is feeling his breathing, and he opens his eyes, and then that is how he comes out. He doesn't come out like the Samapatti person coming out. Yeah.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah.
Is fourth jhana, together with contemplating on Vipassana, sufficient to attain full enlightenment?
Sure. Definitely. You even without attaining fourth jhana, if you practice Vipassana meditation and overcome these fetters, because once you attain the fourth jhana, you have already overcome your hindrances. No more hindrances. But you can definitely overcome your fetters from the fourth jhanic state much easily. But even without attaining any of these jhanas, all you have to do is to overcome your fetters, 10 fetters as I mentioned earlier. So attaining jhana, fourth jhana and so on is not absolutely necessary for attaining enlightenment, attaining Sotapanna and so forth. If one attains jhanas and attains Sotapanna and so forth, that is well and good. That is additional qualification. Otherwise, say for instance, we have had many stories of people who attain stream entry, even full enlightenment, without attaining jhanas. But they need good jhanic quality concentration to see the what you call to understand selflessness. As I mention every day, we gain concentration. With that concentration, we can see things changing more faster, or the subtlest thing we can see changing, and that is enough for one to overcome the notion of self, which is a requirement for the attainment of the first level of enlightenment called Sotapanna. And there have been people, while listening to Buddha's Dhamma talks, sitting on the same cushion, listening to the Dhamma talk, they attained Sotapanna and got up from that seat as a Sotapanna person. So while listening to Dhamma talk, he had not attained jhanas. He just focused his mind so attentively and so clearly that he could see impermanence, unsatisfactoriness and selflessness of his aggregates, and then he overcomes these hindrances or fetters. That concentration he gained while listening to Dhamma is enough to overcome all hindrances. That is called Vinivarna Chittang. Vinivarna Chittang. Nivarna is hindrances. So the mind becomes free from hindrances while listening to the Dhamma talk without attaining jhanas. Okay, friends, that's all time I have today to answer your question, and good that you ask this question. Please keep asking questions when I give a talk, so that next following day we can have more lively discussion. With this, I want to end this session, this morning session, and may all beings who are in pain, suffering from COVID-19 be free from that, recover very quickly, and those who are grieving over their loved ones, may they recover very quickly by understanding the true nature of life and continue their Dhamma practice. And there are many doctors, nurses, hospital staffs helping those sick persons. With compassion they do their service. May they continue their service without themselves being affected by this virus, and others who support very generously, may they continue their generosity with compassion and understanding, and live long in good health. All the leaders who are helping the people to recover, or even preventing them from getting this virus, may they continue their marvelous work with diligence and understanding. And other leaders who have not yet done very much for the benefit of others, may they have courage, understanding, and wisdom to make right decisions. It is not too late. Anytime they can do that. May they all continue their good service. With this, I thank you all for joining this session and encouraging us.